Okay, everybody, we should be back live. We had a hopefully momentarily, connection issue that ended our stream. I apologize. In fact, I am going to wait to apologize until we get people back in here. Let's watch some Candace Owens.
If we were taking money from Qatar, it wouldn't be a problem according to your administration and your cronies. So what's this about? I was so hopeful that you would be able to get through that speech without mentioning the Holocaust, but that was kind of the opening liner. Joseph Goebbels said, bro, Joseph Goebbels has nothing on the Zionists in America and the propaganda that they have pushed. I got to tell you, that's the reality, okay? Let's go before him. Let's go to Sigmund Freud, how you guys created this system of propaganda. Who's the real father of modern propaganda, okay? It's the Freud family. We're awake to this. We see what you guys are doing. And you're not making people feel comfortable with the fact that you keep coming out to have to deny something that certainly wasn't asserted by me on this program. And you're doubling down on your lie. I told you to publish the full letter that Charlie wrote you, not lines of it. Okay? It's a lie by omission. And to stop mentioning the fact that you invited him to Israel just 2 weeks ago without mentioning the fact that he declined to go. Am I lying? Can anybody actually work and assert that I am lying? You can say my name. Candace Owens lied. Charlie said, I'd love to go to Israel. Charlie said, I'd love to have you on my radio show. And for some reason, that seems to be a common theme, that they have sent the hounds out, but they're unable to actually dispute the words that are coming out of my mouth. You have Bill Ackman, extraordinarily. I said, I will publish whatever it is that you say, Bill. You can come on the program. We can talk about that trip to the Hamptons. He just kind of, which was, by the way, you guys on Instagram were so funny. I didn't even have to say anything. You guys just saw right through it because we're all awake. He just, I guess, shared text messages with Charlie Kirk to dispel the claims of, you see how it says blackmail in parentheses, but they put Israel. I never said Israel guys. Blackmailed him. I never said
live.
that.
Yes, this is live.
Okay. And in fact, somebody that was at the Hamptons published a statement and said that Charlie said he felt morally blackmailed. Okay, so that doesn't help your case. But anyways, Bill Ackman published these private text messages, and I guess that just was supposed to dispel the idea that anything happened in the Hamptons. And yeah, actually what's missing from these messages are like a date, a context, and they don't dispel anything that I have asserted. Okay? So what's going on here? Then they trot this guy out, Eric Bolling. He goes on the PBD podcast, and this is this should be embarrassing. Like,
Tyreek, I love your message. Love your message, brother.
The amount of lies coming out of this man's mouth was astounding, okay? But they ran with it. The New York Post, right? Outfit of the Mossad.
Yo, Smelly. She has. We've been doing this all night. We had a momentarily connection issue. That's why this is just now going live. But yeah, she's submitted a lot of proof, and honestly, I'm on her side.
Outfit of the deep state. Ran with it. Charlie Kirk had a breakup with Candace Owens, like as if we were dating. Let's listen actually to what Eric Bolling had to say on the PBD podcast.
At some point, her credibility, is going to go down the tubes because she needs to bring receipts. Bill Ackman brought receipts. How long was that tweet?
It's still going. I think
he was there in the room. Andrew Colbert was there in the room.
Hey, Lewis.
You're on the board of Turning Point?
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you saw Candace Owens?
Yo, worship for his glory. God bless you, and Jesus loves you too.
In person?
Yeah.
2015, 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
when's the last time she was at a Turning Point event?
Not in many years.
Okay.
But
so let's
you
without even being biased. Is Candace even involved in Charlie Kirk's life at all?
No question, proof that Candace Owens has nothing to do. She would be in a perfect world if they didn't have this. What I already know was a very quiet breakup where she got too rabbit hole for him. She would be the logical heir to the TPUSA throne, but she's
and
not.
now she's not even invited.
Correct. So this is so their divide is.
Wait a minute, not invited meaning
she's not even there.
Yeah, she's not there. One of the names.
Wait, you don't think she'll be at the funeral?
No.
That's
I mean,
not the funeral.
The heir to the
okay.
TPUSA throne.
She doesn't speak at the events anymore.
I mean,
So that's just what it's so good for this to happen because you guys are watching everything that I'm saying and you can watch them lie. Eric Bowling, I just don't even get this one. How can you say that I have not spoken at a Turning Point USA conference in years when I literally went on tour with Turning Point USA on college campuses last year? Like that's just incredible. You didn't know that I went, I was on tour for Turning Point USA last year. You don't remember that happening at all. Okay. Then I get fired from the Daily Wire. Turning Point USA is the first to issue a Christ is King statement of support. Then I do, what was it, the YWLS conference right after that. So let's just actually bring this in. What you are referring to, which is kind of a part of the story that we're telling you, is that the Zionists started circling Charlie and trying to control things. This was actually in the around September or whatever. And I was always very honest that Charlie and I had a conversation and they were putting pressure on him. You can't talk to her. She's talking about Israel, blah, blah. I said, Charlie, I am under so much fire right now. Do not even, I'm like radioactive. Don't even worry about the conference. I have to rebuild my whole life.
Hey,
I have to figure out how to get my podcast back on the road. I literally, I'm banned from Australia because I stood up to Zionists. Like I have so much going on. For me not to speak at AmpFest is nothing. Like that doesn't even mean anything. Save yourself, okay? It means nothing to me. Tell them whatever you need them to tell them. And I'm going to focus on trying to rebuild my life because they also had me canceled from YouTube. Remember all that stuff at the end of last year? It was insane. Then I came back bigger and I came back stronger because at the end of the day, the truth will win against lies. That's the message. And so the reality is that then they came inward because that's what Zionists do. They started putting more pressure on him. And this time they didn't want just Candace Owens. It was Tucker Carlson because Tucker went to AmFest. And then they said that can't happen again either. And Charlie started realizing which way the wind was blowing.
Billy.
And in fact, in the
Billy?
very week that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, he was saying that he wanted me back on the roster. That's where his mindset was at. You cannot dispute any of this because it's real. This is then suddenly he gets a Schulman guy is the one that said, I want my name off of the building at Turning Point in the 48 hours leading up to his assassination, the couple of days leading up to his assassination. They were squeezing him, trying to control who he was allowed to speak to. Israelis were involved. So it was.
Okay, guys, we got about one more hour. Just about one more hour.
All right, you guys, I hope everyone has been having a good Friday. What are we going to discuss today? Well, it has been going viral. A mere minutes after Charlie Kirk is shot, there are two men that look rather mysterious. They appear, they move his chair, and they take down the camera that's directly or was directly behind his head. Why did they do that?
Bye-bye, Levi.
Well, fortunately, I was able to establish connection with one of those individuals, and I was also able to see the footage with my own eyes. What I saw was very interesting, but what I didn't see was even more interesting. So let's jump right back into this. Welcome back to Candace. Okay, rare Friday episode. Got to do Friday episode here because this is just so important. And the vultures are circulating above, man. They are definitely insisting that we stop investigating this. I should at first let you know that the Senate has voted and they have passed a bipartisan resolution to designate October 14th, which is Charlie's birthday, as Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. And I have to say that is a very government maneuver. Like we get a Martin Luther King Day. We've got Martin Luther King Boulevards. John F. Kennedy gets
Guys, let's not forget how bad how bad of a dude MLK was. MLK was a terrible dude. Terrible dude.
Library and a national day of mourning. But you know what? You know what I was thinking? I'd like to just find out who killed them all first? That's interesting to me. Who killed them? Before we get them a library, I'd like to know who did it. I think that's the best way for us to learn. The best way for us to remember is to study, right? That's what I learned at grade school.
Yep.
That's what we're doing right now.
10th,
We're
not
studying
October
this
14th.
and learning everything. Let's at first address what many people have been emailing me constantly, asking me, Candace, you got to look into this. You got to look into this.
Trevor Tyler said, I'd love for you to elaborate on that. And Steve said MLK wasn't a dude. He was a duty. I don't know what that means. You are joking about MLK. No, I am not joking about MLK. MLK, we know, did not practice what he preached behind closed doors. He preached about some great things. He did preach about some great things, but he did not practice them behind closed doors. I don't know if I can actually discuss what exactly he was. I don't know the perimeters of YouTube, but we know he was involved in orgies. He had a lot of what are they called? Sex workers, stuff like that. He was not a good dude. And I don't know if I can even go in detail with all of it, but the things he stood for were great. What he practiced behind closed doors were not.
Look at these two strange men. We're going to refer to this as Cameragate. It's Cameragate. And I want to say this, shout out to all of the internet sleuths,
Check,
the
1,
TikTokers, the YouTubers, those of you who were not playing around and you noticed this because I did not
1,
in the
2.
beginning.
Check,
but yes, as I said, there's an individual who is at first, in the moment just after the shooting, he's like up on the rocks near the car that Charlie gets taken away in while he's being carried away. Let's take a look at that footage
Those are not
actually
lies.
first.
Those-
Let's look at
that's,
that footage.
documented
And don't worry.
Okay, so about MLK, no, that is not lies. That is actually documented, and his friends all said that and went on record saying that. Sorry.
There's no gore in this episode. Difficult for me to even look at that sort of footage. Take a look. You can see Charlie's there. And one of you guys caught this. You probably didn't even see it there. And we can get in a little closer. Do you guys have it
Raise my mic.
slow it down, or do you guys just want to circle here? Okay.
There you go. My mic is now raised as much as I can do.
Right there. Right there. An individual is standing there. Again, I am just amazed at internet sleuths, as I was like, wow, that is very strange. That person appears to be calmly talking into their phone. It's like a circus around them. What's he doing? Who's he speaking to? Then, just a couple of minutes afterward, that same individual appears alongside another individual, and he moves Charlie's chair. Like, that's a crime scene. That's not good. And he moves it because he wants to stand on it as he takes down the cameras, or the camera
mic's
rather,
fine.
that
Good.
is
Some people are
just
telling me that
above
it's not.
Charlie's head. That's the camera that I'm talking about on the right-hand side. That's a camera
an FX3.
that I'm referring
No, that's an
to, and we
FX3.
are going
That
to
camera.
now take a look at him. And he is also the individual, as many of you pointed out, that was near Charlie or just before the assassination. But let's check out that footage of him in the immediate aftermath, kind of switching around the cameras, the two of them. Take a look.
Not fireworks. This area. As we cordon off this up.
Is this a MAGA channel? Okay, so that's an interesting question. It's not a MAGA channel. Do I support MAGA? 100,000%, yeah. Sorry, guys.
Safety team is here. I just heard them say the active shooter, Charlie Kirk, has been shot. Charlie Kirk got hit, is what the security detail just said.
Looks pretty bad for that guy.
Don't worry, guys. We're going to get closer. This is just a wide shot so you can see what's going on here, and then we'll get a bit closer. I know you guys have pulled apart this footage a million ways.
Okay,
Thank you for that.
Subscribing. Thank you, Heather. It means a lot. Now, if y'all could not only just subscribe, but actually watch all the way through our videos, they are mostly short. We have a Jimmy Fallon video that the algorithm only served to the left, so they did not like it. So if you can go watch the Jimmy Kimmel video, that would be much appreciated. Also, guys, if y'all want to support us here at Americans Unfiltered, you can go get some merchandise. Show that we're moving some merchandise. All proceeds go to the family. As long as they're on the site, the proceeds go to the family. In fact, if you don't believe me, I believe it's a crime to say something's going to a non-for-profit and not fulfill that promise. So all this merchandise is going to the family, all the proceeds. So that's always an option if you want to support us here and support what we're doing. Also, watching all the way through the videos is also a great way to support us.
And here's the closer version of that. You can see, slowed down here, he pulls out the chair, he stands on it, and yes, that would be a big no-no for a crime scene. You don't move anything. He takes down the camera that is directly above where Charlie was sitting and would be able to provide, therefore, a lot of insight. And then you can see he kind of sits the camera onto the desk, and it looks like he removes the SIM card.
If you need an I Am Charlie hat, link in description. Also, you can get it at americansunfiltered.com, or I will actually pop in the link. 10% off. Use code Kirk, I believe. If you can't use the code Kirk, a pop-up should appear on your screen. 10% off. I just posted in the chat, so you can go check out our hats. They are premium made.
From it, or the SD card, if you will, which we're watching right here. So I'm going when I saw this footage. Who
Heather said,
is
thank
that?
you. You are very
Actually, I should be able to figure this out because I've got a pretty big network at Turning Point USA. The person's wearing shades. I'm not recognizing the individual. And I reach out to somebody on the inside and I'm just like, who's this person? And they tell me the person's name. And I go, oh, wait a second. And I look again. I'm like, I know this person because it's been a few years, but I know this person. This person's been around Turning Point for quite some time, for years. Like I said, back when I was working at Turning Point, early days. So I'm like, I'm just going to reach out. Obviously, I know this individual. I'm going to reach out and I'm going to say, hey, what's up with this? Where is this footage? Why did you do this?
Challenges said Charlie is in heaven next to Jesus, and that he is. I 100% believe that. He is sitting next to the throne. And he's looking down on us, and we need to make him proud.
What were you doing up there on the rocks? What's up? Like, this is not the first thing that I would do if I had just witnessed Charlie Kirk being shot. And I'll say this right now. He was extremely forthcoming. Like, as soon as I reached out, I just sent a text because I still had his number. And he was extremely forthcoming, immediately got onto the phone. And first and foremost, I should say, obviously, he's seeing all of these clips going viral. And he is fearful for his family. He doesn't have any security, and people are looking, And he said, look, as you can see in the footage, I was sitting right to the left or to the left of Charlie when Charlie got shot. And I instantly knew that he was not going to be okay. I instantly knew that he was dead. And I then, as you can see, people that are running, anybody that was in that zone, ran to the back, and he caught his breath. He wanted to check in with and communicate to other people that were working with and around Turning Point USA. That's why he's on his phone, communicating to them what had happened. That's what he told me. Then
Hey,
I asked,
Jessica.
okay, well, what about this camera thing? Why would you grab the cameras? And he says, because the first thing that I thought is that I better secure the footage and be helpful and give that footage, hand that footage over to the feds. Well, obviously, that's where things get into a pickle with me because we don't trust the feds, right? I'm like, no, we don't trust the feds. So we don't got to do that. Just let me have the footage. I'm like, just send me the footage. Please let me look at it. There's a lot of conspiracies that are floating around right now. People don't know what to believe. People are doing very, what I would say, credible videos. People that certainly have the credibility are ballistics experts that are saying that what we see in the front is an exit wound, not an entry wound. I don't know one way or the other because I'm not an expert. I'm getting inundated with messages from people that hunt, people that are in the military saying that this had to have come from another direction. This footage could help. As if nothing else, let me help you. Let me formally debunk that by seeing this footage. Like, could you send this footage over to me? Well, he didn't want to send the footage over to me without checking with Turning Point lawyers. I said, look, technically, you own the footage. Like, you and some other people own the footage. Like, let me just see the footage because why go through lawyers? Like, I just want to see the footage. And also, I asked the question, why not just release it? We've already seen the worst thing that you could possibly see from the front, right? Like the front is what is a traumatizing video. And I understand that he wants to afford his wife some protection. Like this has, to experience that, Erica, so many people watching the love of your life in the last second of their life, it's traumatizing. I'm traumatized by it, right? That's not my husband and the father of my children. And so out of a loyalty to Erica, he also doesn't want to give more footage to the internet. But I said, look, I'm not going to publish it. I just want to see it. And I think you should let me see that because people trust me. They know that I'm very serious about this. I don't care about anything right now other than figuring out who killed Charlie Kirk. So in the short run, he agrees that rather than send the footage, he will get onto a FaceTime call with me and he will show me the footage on his computer. He did that and I watched the footage and I'm going to tell you what I saw. And to the people specifically, the people that are in the military, people that know weapons, I'm telling you this because you might be able to add more color or more clarity here. What you would expect to see. If given the weapon that they have said did this, the bullet they have said did this, I don't know anything about any of this. So I'm just telling you what I saw, okay? First and foremost, there is nothing gory about this shot at all. And so again, I am still going to work with him to get me the footage so that I think it should be shared. There's nothing gory about this footage from the back. The thing that really stood out to me, and I just kept asking him to replay it over and over and over again, is that there's no blood. There's no blood from the back. There is no blood. So I think a lot of people were wondering whether or not that bullet pierced and went out to the back. I think I vaguely even remember, and Skylar, you can maybe live look this up, but like I thought the feds were saying they were looking for a bullet at some point, which is now very alarming to me. I don't understand that. How could they have been looking for a bullet? Because if I'm not seeing,
Detroit
and
Patriot
there isn't,
said, hey, Detroit Patriot. It's good to know that you have joined the live. It's good to know. It's good to know. It's good to know. She knows the guy who stole the SD cards. Yeah, it's good to know.
I'm telling you, what happens in the front is not what happens in the back at all. If I'm not seeing any blood, what are we to take from that? The only thing that could make sense, if what they're saying is true and that person took the shot from the place that they are saying that individual took the shot from, it would suggest that it was inside of Charlie, right? And they would know that. The feds would have known that. So they would have communicated that they were never looking for a bullet. Because remember, one shot. So I'm very confused. I'm very confused, not by what I saw, but what I didn't see. Okay? That's pretty much all I can tell you right now. And I am going to try to get all of the footage. And I understand that right now he is very fearful. But I am going to continue to try to privately push him to just release it.
Yeah, we need to see
I
that
believe
footage.
that transparency
We
is
need
the
to
only
see that
way.
footage.
I'm much more, I think all of us would agree, have much more trust in the people than I do in the feds. The feds are lying about everything, so they should not be the only people that have access to this. And I understand not wanting to have that relived from another angle, but given the fact that there is no gore and there is no blood from this angle, I don't see why not.
Milbo, the rundown is what we're doing right now is we're running through all of Candace's evidence to see if this guy really was not the killer, the guy the feds are saying. And so far, the evidence is pretty damning. Ladies, excuse my language.
And so that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I know some of you guys were insinuating. I got a lot of emails that it could have been a flechette. I had to look that up. I don't even know what that is. I was like, guys, I don't know anything. Flechette shells, that something could have been a lot closer that hit him and that everything else could have been a distraction. All I can tell you is that there's no blood. That's it. There is no blood in that video. So give me your thoughts on that. Now I want to get to another tip that I received that is pretty interesting.
Guys, if y'all don't think Candace Owens is telling the truth, let me know down below. If you do think she's telling the truth and she's trying to find the killer and she was really close friends with Charlie, please subscribe, please like, and go watch our Jimmy Kimmel video. We worked hard on the video, and I think you patriots will like it.
Because,
And
look,
make sure
as
to
you
like
guys
that
know, when I
video
began
too.
investigating
Watch it all the way
this
through.
assassination, at no point did I ever speculate that any other country was involved. I never speculated that Israelis were involved. So it was surprising, to say the least, that they're simply pretending that I did, pretending that I blamed Israel, pretending that I said Bibi Netanyahu killed Charlie Kirk. It is now, like I said yesterday, it feels like they are trying to get ahead of something, like they know more than we know. I don't know why you would say something or accuse somebody of saying something that they didn't. I do believe that there is very clearly, we all believe, there's very clearly a government level conspiracy that is involved. Okay, there's no other way to assess those disastrous text messages. Absolute disaster of a Fed operation with those messages. Yesterday, I pretty casually mentioned to you guys something, that the doorbell cam footage, which TMZ happened upon somehow, was from a street upon which a ton of employees that work for Caldera Engineering live. We showed you, I think, one or two of those employees, the husband and wife I had mentioned worked for Caldera Engineering, and it is a country that purports to manufacture valves. And I said, I know nothing about the valve industry. All I know is that every time I start investigating a government conspiracy or looking into people that are really shady, like Harley Pasternak, thus far 3 people who I've investigated who oddly, either them or their families had backgrounds working in this very niche valve and piping industry, like manufacturers of valves and pipes. I'm like, is everybody doing that? This is very strange. Well, many of you emailed me something that was quite surprising. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but you let me know that this is a very niche industry. And by niche, I mean that you asserted that it implies major government contracts, likely the CIA. Those of you who have worked at those industries telling me that there are even certain valves that are exclusively manufactured in Israel, and that they tend to be involved in this. The government and the military tend to be involved in this. And that even, by the way, on Caldera's website, they noted that they have worked in Israel. They have a map that they note every country that they have done engineering projects in, and one of them or 2 dots are in Israel. And somebody explained why the government gets involved when it comes to valves and piping. And I'm just going to read you this email because maybe there are people at home who are just as ignorant as I am about government level engineering, okay? This person wrote, "Hi, Candace. I wanted to share some detailed information regarding valves, piping, and their relevance to critical infrastructure and intelligence communities. Valves as critical infrastructure assets. Modern industrial valves are used in pipelines, water treatment plants, power plants, and chemical facilities, are often automated and networked, forming part of operational technology and SCADA systems. This allows remote monitoring and control of the flow of gas, oil, water, and chemicals. Cybersecurity implications. These valves are part of systems that could be targeted for cyber attacks. Compromised valves can cause pipeline ruptures, water contamination, or industrial accidents. Because of this, intelligence and regulatory agencies, the CISA, NSA, PHMSA, FERC, monitor valve networks and may maintain trusted relationships with manufacturers and engineers to ensure security and resilience. Integration with above ground systems. Modern valve networks can also integrate with cameras, sensors, alarms, and environmental monitoring. This means that an operator could simultaneously monitor flow, view live video, and respond to alarms, which enhances both security and operational oversight. And strategic value for intelligence communities. Knowledge of valve locations, models, and control systems provide insight into critical infrastructure vulnerabilities. Access to or relationships with manufacturers allows agencies to monitor, assess, and secure supply chains. Remote monitoring of valves and integrated systems can support emergency response simulations and national security exercises. And then they provide us with the real-world context by writing, companies like Caldera Engineering in Provo, Utah, manufacture specialized industrial valves and control systems. While no public evidence currently links them to intelligence contracts, their products could theoretically be part of OT systems monitored by government agencies due to the critical nature of the infrastructure that they serve. In short, valves themselves are simple mechanical devices, but when networked and embedded in critical infrastructure, they become strategically important for monitoring security and intelligence purposes. That just sounds right to me. That, I mean, I'm telling you, every story, I'm like, what is this person? It's like their family's in valve. Like, I mean, I don't know anybody whose family did this. I don't know. Again, like, this is the kind of stuff that, like, we don't know, but we know. And that hits.
Put God first. Yes,
and I
do
feel
believe in
like
God.
there is a bigger piece of this that involves Caldera. And like I said, I perceive a government conspiracy. You'd be a fool not to see a government conspiracy here, especially with the way that I am being attacked for simply trying to investigate this. And the attacks are growing frantic. It's almost as if they all received an email from somebody who said, I don't care what you say, make it up out of thin air, and do not stop attacking Candace Owens. That is the loudest. It's like an alarm went off. And everyone, people that I thought I was friends with, are coming after me with obscene lies that are just so easily fact-checked. So easily, you can debunk them in 4 seconds on the internet, and they're delivering it as though it's honest. We're going to talk about that. I was even surprised PBD. I mean, I've always been friendly with him. I've always been kind to him. I have nothing wrong to him. And he seems to be kind of, he's the one who platformed without any pushback, Eric Bolling. And I have an idea about why all of that may be. I'll tell you in just a second. First, I want to remind you guys about GNO land, because what if smart contract platforms were not controlled by the elites or big tech? What if they were built by and for real builders only? Okay. All right. So let's get into how weird these headlines are getting. It's very strange. And I think we know why it's happening. We obviously know why it's happening. But even the publications that are usually not so blatant, because in order to be a propagandist, you want to be effective, right? You got to like lie a little and get people to believe you, not just do things that are just so nakedly deceptive that people go, okay, why am I even reading this publication? Well, the Daily Mail put out this headline about me. Again, if it like this, look at this journalist, Victoria Churchill, who reached out. She writes, Candace Owens rages after being snubbed from the Charlie Kirk Memorial speaking roster. When did this happen? Like, the lying here is actually making me uncomfortable. I told you yesterday that we received way too many emails about Charlie's memorial. All of them were asking specifically for me to confirm that I was going. Didn't feel good to me. It felt very inauthentic. I know these journalists are not my friends. I knew they were writing hit pieces, but all of them included that question. Are you going? Are you going to go? Like, you want me to confirm my attendance so that you know where I'm going to be ahead of time? Am I being paranoid? Or does that seem like a little weird? Even on PBD's show, where he just gives a platform to a guest to completely lie for 2 minutes straight. There is this random second where PBD rather oddly says something along the lines of, you don't think she's going to the funeral? Like they keep talking about this. Take a listen again.
At some point, her credibility, I mean, is going to go down the tubes because she needs to bring receipts. Bill Ackman brought receipts. How long was that tweet?
It's still going. I think
He was there
Rob's
in the
still
room.
reading it.
Andrew Colbert was there in the room. You're on the board of Turning Point?
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you saw Candace Owens?
In person?
Yeah.
2015,
Oh, wow.
2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
When's the last time she was at a Turning Point event?
Not in many years.
Okay.
But
So let's
here,
okay.
you don't
without
even have to
even
do this,
being
Adam.
biased.
There's a
is Candace even involved
there's
in Charlie Kirk's life at all?
No question, proof that Candace Owens has nothing to do. She would be in a perfect world if they didn't have this. What I already know was a very quiet
interesting,
breakup
guys,
where
very
she got too
interesting.
rabbit hole for him. She would be the logical heir to the TPUSA throne, but she's
And
not.
now she's not
because
even invited.
Correct. So this is
So,
their divide is.
Wait a
is-
minute, not
is-
invited meaning
She's not even there.
Yeah, she's not.
She's
She's
not
not
there.
one of the names that I.
Wait, you don't think she'll be at the funeral?
Yeah,
No,
guys,
no,
she was there
that's-
last year. That's a lie, I think. I'm pretty sure she was at an event last year.
At the
heir-
funeral.
the heir to
I'm
the
saying
okay.
TPUSA throne.
She doesn't speak at the events anymore.
I mean,
Okay, so first and foremost, why did they all want to know if I was going to this event? I said there is no way we are going to this event now. There's a 0% chance. First and foremost, why are you saying invite anybody can go to it? You just buy a ticket to the event, and you're all working to try to get me to confirm that I'm going. And you're doing this as if you're trying to like push my buttons and be like, we got to make her get into her ego so she like shows up and like posts it on social media. Nope, actually. You know, while I'm attacking the feds, maybe not going to a public event, which the feds are organizing, is probably a very good idea. I'm good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna listen to Power on my headphones and go see Ye. How's that for a memorial for Charlie Kirk? That feels like the right thing for me to do right now. I mean, I'm not going to this memorial because it's strange. To lie like this is very strange. For context, just so you can realize how odd this is, I spoke at Turning Point's conference, 2 conferences last year. It's so easily, like I said, debunkable that you have to ask yourself why they are saying it. Here is me speaking on Turning Point USA's stage last year. And here's what I said, by the way, which got Charlie in a lot of trouble.
Well, let me tell you something, America. It does feel so good to go everywhere in the world and to realize that there is awakening, not just happening here. Let me tell you guys, it's happening all across the globe. People are starting to ask the hard questions.
She was there last year, bub. That's just a lie, Bubba.
And
This
you
is
know you
last
start
year.
getting close when they start to call you names. They instantly want to suggest that there's something wrong and there's something backwards about being America first. You're starting to hear the way they're framing that now. When you say you're America first, they'll ask you, what do you mean you're America first? Do you mean that you're an isolationist? Do you believe that we shouldn't have did what we did during World War II? All of these things trying to pollute it. It's not that difficult. America first. First name America, last name first. We put this country's interests before the interests of foreign countries overseas. All of them. I don't care.
Yeah, it kind of went on and on, but it was kind of me saying, especially since 3 months earlier, I had gotten fired from the Daily Wire, like, Israel, you're not special. And yeah, Charlie got in trouble for the stuff that I said on stage, and then they came inward. I told that I was not allowed to speak at AbFest. The donors were making threats, but like I went on tour with Turning Point last year. It's so on their website. It's so this is like the strangest thing. We could pull up this website. Live free tour. Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens. Quiet breakup. Why are we doing this? It's very strange. Here's all the places that we went to last year. Now they are pushing these headlines that are so far beyond the realm of reality, like the one that I just showed you, where they say that I'm angry. And then when you look into who's writing these articles, like Victoria Churchill, you note that she has a connection to AIPAC. So AIPAC is pushing this, right? The answer is implied by the people who are attacking me. They are all ultra-Zionists, right? Like I said, the author of that article is an ultra-Zionist. And here she is, starting off 2018 in D.C., and she's got a picture of herself. If you can scroll down, I don't know if you can see this, like sitting in the audience in AIPAC, and she's thrilled. America, Israel. It's like all of these people are agents for a foreign country. And I feel like Bibi Netanyahu is spending a lot of money right now. He is just way too involved, concerned about Turning Point USA, the future of Turning Point USA, attacking Candace Owens. And I think something sinister is going on here. How can you not see that? I also want to say this. I have had a flood of Turning Point employees reach out to me, maybe because he says she would have been the natural heir to Turning Point USA. I'm not trying to be the heir to Turning Point USA. I kind of like my life. I don't want to take money from donors, okay? Because they do what they did to Charlie. They're not donating money to charity because they view it as a charity. They're doing it because they want to purchase your voice. That's it. And I don't want to give mine up. But what these people are telling me is a very dark story that involves these donors, sponsors, influencers, a takeover of sorts that I think was happening right under Charlie's nose. And I want to say this formally as we keep investigating this. I believe that Charlie Kirk was betrayed by people who are close to him. Based on what I have seen thus far, the evidence, the quote-unquote receipts that require a way deeper investigation into the apparatus, the financial apparatus at Turning Point, there was definitely some weird activity leading up to this moment happening at the organization, and I've been able to verify it. I have been given names, and I intend to now embark on this lengthier investigation, which I need more help on. I've reached out to some journalists, and I'm sharing the information with them, and I think we're going to discover that this was ugly, uglier than we could have ever imagined, okay? There is a fear here that we are all perceiving, a desperation almost to end the investigation. The smears are becoming radical. You can't just pretend Candace hasn't spoken to Charlie Kirk in years, but they're doing it. And they're trying to be convincing and shocked and putting this out.
Okay, I'm not saying she's right. I'm not saying she's wrong. The easiest way to prove this, Candace, release text messages of a conversation with Charlie Kirk in the past 3 months. That's all I'm saying. Past 3 months, text conversation. That's all. Just to prove these guys wrong. Just shut them up. 3 months in the past 3 months. Maybe 6. Just shut these guys up. Prove them wrong. I think you're right. Prove them wrong. Release a full text chain for the past 3 months. And somewhere in the past 3 months, talking about recent events, yada yada yada, and you'll shut everyone up. Am I wrong? No, she released her text messages. Not from the last few months. I've watched all her videos. I've watched every single video since Charlie Kirk died of hers. Tonight, I've watched every single video. I've not seen a text thread in the past 3 months.
I've never stopped talking to Charlie. I mean, yesterday I released just one of many messages that I have with Charlie, which prove that he was, in the months leading up to this, concerned about Israel and how Israel was coming.
No, the first thing she did was release her text messages from the past. Some text threads from the past, not like in the past 3 months. Just prove everyone wrong and release your text messages. I'm not saying she's right. I mean, what she's saying is making a lot of sense. Just prove everyone wrong.
After our free speech. Free speech meant a lot to him, right? This message is from May. We can pull that back up, right? Charlie sent me his tweet because after the assassination of Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lachinsky in D.C., people were calling for like hate speech laws. And Charlie, authored a long tweet saying these were beautiful people. They had their lives ahead of them, but
This is March 22nd. What year?
See, after messages from May, we can pull that back up, right? Our free concerned about Israel and how Israel was coming after our free speech. Free speech meant a lot to him, right? This message is from May. We can pull that back up, right? Charlie sent me
May. So May. So yeah, okay.
His tweet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because after the assassination of Sarah Milgram and Yaron Lachinsky in D.C., people were calling for like hate speech laws. And Charlie, authored a long tweet saying these were beautiful people. They had their lives ahead of them. But I must push back against one thing. And again, it was just the justification that this somehow meant that we had to get rid of free speech, like suddenly like, oh, well, this happened, so now we need to say free speech is wrong. And so I wrote back to him
Hey guys, while we have everybody on, if y'all want to support what we're doing here at Americans Unfiltered, or specifically Unfiltered with Josh, y'all can repost clip stuff and repost them, tag us. We will repost your repost, and tag us, and we'll download them and post them on our social medias if you want to help us out. Thank you.
I said, great tweet. And he gave prayer hands. And I said, speech censorship is coming to America. And he wrote back, as you can see, and the date here is May 22nd of this year. It totally is. Okay? Me and Megan and Tucker are not lying to you. Charlie was concerned about the speech, that he felt the restrictions. And inevitably, this happens when you get into bed with Israel. You can't criticize them at all, as Megan said, before you start enduring threats. And what I have learned from the employees there is that back in May, Turning Point had some big changes, some odd changes as they are describing it to me, certain departments, people that were being fired, people that were told that they had to keep certain things a secret. Secret from whom? Secret from whom?
Hey,
something is not
Bobby?
right. Nothing
Bobby!
we are being told is true.
Said hi.
And the strangest thing is that Pam Bondi, who is a complete loser and a tool, is trying to use the assassination of Charlie Kirk to lay the groundwork for hate speech laws in America. The very thing that Charlie was fighting against. They all just got right to work trying to pass laws. Well, Charlie Kirk is that, so now we got to hate speech is something. Exactly what he's messaging me about that he doesn't want to happen. They're trying to use his death to justify. Listen to what Pam Bondi said to Katie Miller on her podcast. Take a listen.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech.
No.
And there is no.
Hate speech is free speech. Now, if it gets into the territory of commanding violence and being violent, that's different. What she is saying is false. And I believe she tweeted something afterwards.
No place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle.
So to be clear,
okay.
That's the feds telling you that they want to pass speech laws, which will basically just give them the full power to go after you for wrongthink, okay? And they're doing it in the most disturbing way ever by going after Charlie Kirk's legacy and using his assassination to say, oh, well, now we've got to get hate speech done, which, by the way, who was the person and the leader who said that he was passing laws against speech in America? That was Bibi Netanyahu, okay? Years ago, on record, saying that he was working with the government of America, and any person that criticized Israel would find themselves on the wrong side of the law, okay? You can find that clip of him saying that. And now what's happening? Well, we have an occupied administration. There's no question. Trump is occupied by Zionists, okay? He's completely impotent. He's completely powerless. He cannot say anything that goes against Israel or Bibi Netanyahu. He's letting them do whatever they want. No pushback whatsoever. It's very clear Bibi is in control, and his administration is saying that. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But this was the plan, okay? This was the plan. And we have to stand up to this, guys. We have to fight this tooth and nail. The reason they're doing this, obviously, is because they can't win in the free markets. People are, as Megan said, people that are under 30 are anti-Israel. So that means the future of America is anti-Israel. So what they're going to try to do is to pass speech laws. Bolshevik speech laws. They're going to arrest us for saying that we don't support Israel. Something that Charlie was passionately against, okay? And we can show you next week clips of him hosting the debate about speech and Israel and whether or not everything was anti-Semitism. And he was very clear in his perception that this is going to increase anti-Semitism, trying to pass speech laws or labeling people anti-Semites for criticizing Bibi Netanyahu. It's all out there, and they're lying to you. Am I wrong am I cynical for believing that, yeah, the feds are obviously lying, and I would say at some level, in a very big way, were involved in the death of Charlie because they wanted this sort of radical way to push through laws. When something chaotic happens, we usually turn to the government. I mean, 9/11, what did we do? We gave them so much power, right? The Patriot Act. Do whatever, just keep me safe. It's like they see your emotion, they see this global emotion, and they want you to just agree with them that the next step is more power for the government. And this time we're saying no. No, Pam Bondi. No, thank you. Genuinely, why are you in office? How can this administration pretend that they are the same administration that they were in 2016 that were fighting against this? The same administration that was going, oh, well, the George Floyd death, radical Dems, BLM, speech laws. It was wrong when the left did it. And it's wrong now that the right is doing it, which leads me to believe that we are fighting opposite sides of the same coin. It's us versus them, the elites versus the rest of us. That's it. Everything else is a mirage. And speaking of free speech, I want to speak about Jimmy Kimmel because he has been pulled off air indefinitely over his comments in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination. So let's take a listen to what Jimmy Kimmel said on his show.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see...
You guys, if you didn't like what Jimmy said, go watch my video on Jimmy Kimmel. Go check it out. Seriously, go check it out. It's a good video, and make sure to leave a like.
All the trucks, they've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years, and it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. There's demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
Okay, so that's what he said. Whether or not you think it was a insensitive joke, okay, I don't think that would have been the justification for saying that he now needs to donate to charity and lose his whole life. And this is what happened. He's taken off air, and some people are saying, hey, Candace, they did this to us, and you're not wrong, right? If you are on the right and you are saying that when the whole George Floyd thing happened, people lost their jobs for saying sensible things or making a joke, you are correct. Like, you are right to say, yes, that absolutely did happen. But if you're not recognizing that when you just flip the coin, it's the same people that are gaining more power, I just want the attacks on free speech to stop, okay? I want the reaction. If you're angry about what Jimmy Kimmel said.
Okay. Guys, that's not true. Okay, so this is the only thing that I really I disagree with her on all night. What Jimmy Kimmel did was not against free speech. What it was is he said that on a government subsidized network he had terrible ratings. They've been looking for a reason to fire him. Terrible ratings. Some of the worst ratings I've ever seen. And I come from a TV background. I come from TV and film. I've worked on multiple reality TV shows and movies. I'm not saying high budget ones, but I'm saying when a network needs to get rid of someone, they look for any excuse possible. This is that. He wasn't funny. He was a terrible comedian. Go watch my video if you want to see my thoughts.
Right? He doesn't have a show because nobody's watching him anymore because they're so disgusted by what he said. That's what I want. I want us to be in control, right, of where we spend our dollars, of what we're saying, and not like the government to press a button and say, you lose everything because we don't like what you said. And it should be noted, by the way, that in the same monologue, he did call the murder senseless. The day that it happened, Jimmy Kimmel posted a message on Instagram sending love to the Kirk family, to the victims of gun violence. He posted, instead of the angry finger pointing, can we just for one day agree that it's horrible and monstrous to...
He had high ratings, bro. Hold up. 2025 Jimmy Kimmel ratings. Let's see here. 2025 Jimmy Kimmel ratings. Let's see here. This comment said, Jimmy had great ratings, you liar. Oh. Okay, in August 2025, Jimmy Kimmel Live had about 1.1 million total viewers, which was the second lowest viewership in the late night shows, and significant drop since its first quarter. Second quarter of 2025 averaged 1.82 and 1.77 million viewers. Those are terrible numbers for primetime late night television. Just terrible, terrible, terrible. So these comments saying that he had these comments saying that he had great ratings. Are you kidding me right now? Okay, we're gonna get back to the video.
Shoot another person. On behalf of my family, we send love to the Kirks and to all the children, parents, and innocents who fall victim to senseless gun violence. You wouldn't have thought that he had posted that in terms of everyone that were just like strip him of everything. And I want to be clear, I don't like Jimmy Kimmel, right? I think he is a part of the radical left. The people that are constantly shouting, I don't like him at all.
This guy said, Jimmy Kimmel and everyone has free speech, but your employer has the right to hold you accountable for what you say if it puts them at jeopardy or could tarnish their image. That was a good comment, Rip City. Good comment.
But I'm just recognizing that our solution to being angry at each other always seems to be, let's give the government more power, right? Let's give the government more power. And that's what happened here, okay? The chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, Brendan Carr, jumped up and he criticized Jimmy Kimmel's remarks. He threatened federal action against ABC affiliates who carried the show. What? Federal action if you carry the...
ABC is a government subsidized network, which means that the FCC has all right to say, hey, apologize for this because it's government airwaves. So again, I disagree with this, and they have certain like boundaries that you have to fall in.
The Jimmy Kimmel show, does that seem right to you? Okay, again, if you're on the right and you cheered this on, do you understand? We never, ever, ever should be applauding federal action when it comes to speech.
I disagree because
we're all losing. We are all losing. You have to wake up. That's what happened. Brendan Carr of the FCC
the right to say what they want. Now, if Jimmy Kimmel goes on Instagram and he starts saying these things, that's one thing for the government to step in and say, hey, take that back. That's one thing, and that's something we should not promote. But I don't see any reason why on government airwaves they can't control what you say, because it's government airwaves, and the government gives them the right to have airwaves, and you have to follow certain parameters. It's just the truth.
Benny Johnson, and that's what he said, that he absolutely wants to make sure that people are not carrying this show anymore, and that after one of the mergers that they did, I just see the same people are constantly being empowered. And I want to point that out to you because you have to be more conscious of that. It's like they use our emotions, left versus right, to manipulate all of us. And it's completely wrong. And it's completely crazy. And they're also calling for him to make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA. Okay. What? Yeah. That's a shakedown. That's what they did to Kyrie Irving. I don't like what you said. Donate to the Holocaust Museum. What? I can't cheer this on, guys. I'm sorry. I can't cheer this on because I don't like it.
That says anything like that.
I know for a fact, as I just showed you, that this was Charlie's fear. The government coming in on
speed. This guy had a funny freaking comment. That's a funny comment, bro. You're getting pinned. Clueless. That was a funny comment. Hold up. Clueless said, except that joke was mid AF, bro. Exactly, bro. You can't be making fun of someone's death and the joke be mid. Oh, man, that's funny.
That's what's happening right now. They're taking over our speech under the guise of fighting hate. TikTok, by the way. Did you guys see this? Israel's pretty much taking over TikTok. There's no other way to say it. Mark Andreessen in on a deal with, I think it's Silver Silver Capital. What is it? Not Silver Lake. They're all coming together, and we knew this was going to happen. This whole fake canceled TikTok. No, TikTok was going pro-Palestine, and a bunch of hedge fund people who are pro-Israel got involved. Trump pretended that he was going to rescue speech. No, he's handing it over to Israel. Okay, wake up. If you're a Trump supporter, wake up. Okay, he has handed so much over to Israel, and he's about to hand over the keys to our speech. All that aside, I do want to shout out to all the creators that are making me laugh. Let's use our speech while we're still allowed to have it. And you also have to remember, Charlie wanted us to be happy warriors. So while we are fighting for truth, while we are fighting for transparency, we should remember that we should laugh and we should be happy. And the clips that you guys are making regarding how the feds think that we speak after that ridiculous made-up text chain between Tyler Robinson and his lover, Lance, they're hilarious. Your TikToks and the videos are hilarious. I'm going to show you just one here. This is Chris Olsen, at Chris Olsen. He's actually over on Instagram. Take a listen.
Good day, my love. I have just committed one of the highest sins of the Lord, murder. I must flee the country now in my vehicle. I have hidden the weapon. It was mine. I won't see you for a very long time. Unless you come with me. If not, I will see you after the war, my love.
Why is that so accurate? What went wrong, FBI? What went wrong? Speak to us. Let us help you. You guys just old? Like, what's going on? I actually think there was a person on TikTok. I hate to not credit them, but I genuinely don't remember what handle it was. I was just scrolling through. But he suggested that what went wrong was that they did use AI, and in their AI prompt, they said to create a conversation between 20-year-olds, or like a conversation between 20-year-olds, but they actually wrote like the AI understood it as like not people in their 20s, but like people in the 20s, like the 1920s. And I was like, that actually could have been what went wrong. They prompted AI and they said between people in their 20s, and actually they wrote people in the 20s, and they just went with it. And that's why you have this, hello, my love. Like, it's so bad. It's a major blunder. It's a very bad blunder, you guys. But I'm happy it happened, because everything is coming undone. We're exposing everything. We're going to figure out everything. And I feel good about that. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing this weekend. In memorial of Charlie Kirk, I'm going to keep investigating every single lead until I solve his murder.
We've been doing this since about 7. She might have a new video. Ah, she doesn't have a new video. No new video. No new video. Well, you know what that means? That means we are done. We are done. With Candace, that is. Y'all can leave if y'all want. Yeah, I know y'all are. Okay, well, if you want to support me, you can subscribe. You can also like the video. You can go watch the Jimmy Kimmel video. We have some merch available. All proceeds go to his family. Some really cool t-shirt designs, some really cool hat designs. Go check those out. Link is in the description. Again, go watch our Jimmy Kimmel video. I worked hard on it. Make sure to like that video. It's very important. Make sure to like that video and comment something good to show the YouTube algorithm that it was a good video. Also, to make sure that we get some good ratings up, because that supports us here at Unfiltered. And make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I am Joshua Sealing. This has been Unfiltered. Go check out AmericansUnfiltered.com.